Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Geeks. Today we'll be learning the data types in Python. So let's start with sharing the screen first. So guys, what are the data types? Data types, as the name suggests, is the type of data we are dealing with. For example, if we say the number 10 and I ask you what is this type, what type of data it is, you will say it is numeric. Similarly, if I ask you what is 20.50, what type of data it is representing? So it is representing decimal. Similarly, if somebody asks what does names like tech geeks represent, the answer will be alphabetic. So guys, based upon the data or the value that we are dealing with, Python has a set of data types defined for those values, out of which we will be studying some very basic data types today, and we'll doing the remaining data types in the upcoming classes. So the data types that we are going to cover today are int, float, string, and bool. Well, now, what are these data types? We'll go one by one on them. First of all, we'll see what is int data type. Int data type is nothing but the data types that hold numerics without decimals. For example, here 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, all are the int, that is integer data types. Similarly, when we say float data types, so these are the data types that hold numerics with the decimals. And those decimals may be up to certain places, maybe 2 place, 3 place, or so on. For example, 10.50, 20.20, 30.90, all are float data types. Then comes the string data types. Strings are nothing but the collection of letters, or we can say characters, that are represented in the form of either single quote or double quote or triple quotes. So guys, anything which is contained inside single or double or triple quotes in Python represent the string data types, that is represented by str, like this. This is inside a string single quote, the letter A. This represents the string data type. Similarly, if we represent tech geeks inside double quotes, this is also string data type. So guys, this is all about the string data type, float and integer data type. Then comes the Boolean data type. Now, what is a Boolean data type? It is a data type that contains only two values. It can either be false or true, that is represented in the machine with the in the machine language with one and zeros, true for one, false for zero. So if I say that x is equal to true and y is equal to false, so what data types x and y will be holding? Those will be Boolean data types, as true and false represent the Boolean data types. So guys, let us take some more examples to understand these data types in a better way. For example, say I define a variable 1 as 10. Now, now we all know that variable 1 is holding an integer value, that is 10. So guys, if I want Python to tell us what is the data type of variable 1, so that for that we have a predefined function. First of all, what is meant by predefined? For that, please check out my video, keywords, literals, and variables. And what are the functions that we'll be seeing in the upcoming classes. So for now, just for the purpose of understanding, think of functions as something that performs certain tasks, certain functionality for you, and provide you certain output. So we have a predefined function, that is type, in Python, that takes an argument. What is argument? I'll be telling you. That takes an argument which is nothing but the variable one and inside the round braces. So if I execute this code, it will return me the data type of variable one, which is int. Similarly, if I type what is the data type of 10.50, it will return me float. Similarly, for string, it will be, for text it will be string. And what is the data type of true? It is Boolean. And also data type of false, same Boolean. So guys, this is all about the data, basic data types in Python. So we need to understand one more concept here, that is how these variables store these values assigned to them. So guys, the data or the values that we supply to these variables in order to perform certain tasks in our code first gets the memory allocated to them. Now, what does that mean? Let's take a simple example to understand that. Suppose we want to store water. So what would we do for that? Well, based upon the quantity of the water that we want to store, we will either be using a glass to store water in it if the quantity is less, or we will be using a bucket if the quantity is relatively more, or we will be using a large container if the quantity is very high. So similarly, Python also allocates this bucket or glass or container, that means memory, to the variables for storing the values being supplied to those variables. So these int, float, string, and boolean and all other data types, all other variables are all needs memory to store these values. So, so guys, in Python, we have certain data type extensions, which are int32, int64, float32, and float64 to accommodate the values as per the data type allocated to the variables. So Python allocates memory to the variables based upon the data types, and here are the four data types which we will discuss right now. So what is the difference between 32 and 60? What are 32 and 64 first of all? 32 is nothing but 32 bits of the memory. It is 32 bits space of the memory that we can allocate to some variable. Similarly, 32 is bits is equivalent to 4 bytes of memory. Similarly, int 64 is an integer data type that holds 64 bits of memory, or we can say 8 bytes of memory. So int 32 holds all the values that lie in the range minus of this to plus of this. These are two extreme values, and whatever values are contained between these two extreme values, any of those values, if we want to accommodate, we can accommodate it in int32 data type. Similarly, int64 data type holds any value that lies within this range, a relatively larger range, as we are moving to relatively larger data type from 32-bit to 64-bit. So similarly, float 32 holds a range of minus 3.4 into 10 raised to power 38 to plus 3.4 into 10 raised to power 38, and float 64 holds a range of values from minus 1.8 into 10 raised to power 308 to 1.8 into 10 raised to power 308. So guys, and one more thing guys, there is nothing called character data type in Python like you would have seen in other programming languages. In Python, character is nothing but a string, you can say, of length 1. So guys, this is all about the basic data types in Python. In the next tutorial, we'll be covering some operations or tasks that we may perform on the string data types. After which we'll be covering operators in Python, in which we'll be seeing the operations that may be performed on int and float data types. So guys, if you like the content of the channel, you may please press the subscribe button and bell icon so that the content notification reaches you as soon as it is uploaded. And if you have any doubts or queries regarding any of the tutorial, you can post the same in the comment, as I keep track of my channel continuously. So I'll be clearing all your doubts timely. If you like the content, you may please press the like button. Thank you and happy learning.